everyone!
Hey guys, so today's video guys is Spill the Tea Part 2 with no actual tea, instead we're doing water.
You don't need to tell them that, come on!
They're gonna see!
No, I mean they won't see mine, it's just like a magical pretense of tea drinking. We wanted to discuss what we love and hate about St. Andrews, but we're actually going to be honest about it, unlike other people who've done similar videos.
I don't think you can say that.
No, I can, because the other videos that I've watched, they kind of like it's kind of annoying that this happens, but they don't actually say anything that they hate, so I don't trust it.
I mean, naturally Kiana has more hate than love for St. Andrews, so...
No, honestly, I was writing my list and I wrote all of the hate ones first, and I was like, right, I actually need to get started on what I love.
You see, I was the opposite. I couldn't think of anything I hated, really.
Should we do what we love first to start with, like, positive stuff? There are some of the most kind-hearted people I've ever met here, and I feel like the community is such a close-knit one. People really care about one another, and not just the students. I love everyone that I've become close friends with. I've been on trips with them, have made amazing memories, and then also because I was here over winter, I kind of got closer with the townspeople as well, and I feel like it's so easy. Like, they're very open and accepting to let you into their community. What?
That's so sappy. No, to be fair, I agree. But also, I just love how you call them townspeople. You make it sound so medieval.
I mean, they are townspeople. We live in a town, Tom. What do you expect?
I agree completely. It's a very easy place to make friends and meet people. And also, people, as you said, the townspeople are really lovely as well. And they're very easy to talk to most of the time. I have still never met a single person who I haven't liked in St. Andrews to some extent.
Liar, liar, plants for hire.
It's more like when you get to know people and then you're like, oh, I don't want to know you anymore. Goodbye. We will get to that, I promise.
Okay.
We are spilling tea today, so like, we will get to that.
So I said academic families.
Oh yeah, same. Traditions and academic families.
I think academic families are a really cool thing. I don't know, do any of the universities actually do academic families in the same way?
I was speaking to a friend in Birmingham and she said that the medics have academic families, but it doesn't work in the same way. They're just like mentors for the younger med students. And also medicine's a cult, so, you know. That's why they have.
No, okay, yeah, fair. I think academic families are a really cool idea. It's something I really love. I think also, the thing with academic families is, especially when you're a first year and in freshers, it was a really good way to meet other people who I otherwise probably would never have met. So like Naomi and Gwen, I mean, I probably would have met them through you at some point, but I would have never met them properly because we shared basically no subjects or lived on opposite ends of town. And the same with, well, I mean, Ben I would have met eventually in English probably, but even still. And also, it's a really just good, like, it's a really easy way as a fresher to just feel welcomed.
I think it's so good, especially with getting older and younger years interacting with one another, and it kind of just makes it okay, the fact that everyone's like hanging out with one another. I feel like I'm quite good friends with my mums and my aunties and my sisters as well.
Yeah, well that was another thing on my list actually about love, because what I really like about St. Andrews is, and I don't know if this is the same across all universities, I think it maybe is just because St. Andrews is so insular and so small, is that the different year groups they seem to get on really well. Like, I have a lot of friends who are older than me who like don't even take my subjects necessarily. It's just a really good atmosphere in that sense, I feel.
Oh, also, I was gonna say, just, you know, putting it out there, we're gonna be parents this year.
Not together.
Yeah, no, not together. Although we will be celebrating Raisin together. It'll just be two families.
Have you got a husband?
Okay, listen. We are still on the hunt for a husband, but, you know, I am working hard, okay? I am working hard. I am hunting for one. It is difficult times.
Meanwhile, I'm on wife number 2.
Stop. Actually stop.
If you are a guy watching, about to go into third year in St. Andrews, please hit Kiana up because she needs an academic husband.
No, this is not what I was going to say. I was going to say to all the freshers coming, if you want me to be your mum and you happen to see me around in freshers, come up and have a chat with me. Like, I'd love to be your mum.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just used the channel as an advert to get kids.
I want children, okay? I know we say it a lot and we show it a lot in our videos, but the town is just so beautiful and there are so many amazing sights here. Some of my favourite memories are watching the sunrise with friends on Easter Sunday, just going for walks on the beach.
One of my loves was the cathedral. Like, it's such a good place to just relax, like on a sunny day. Like, I have fallen asleep there many times in the sun in first year.
In the cathedral? cathedral?
Yeah, on the lawn.
Around the dead people?
No, not on that part. If you go to the right-hand side of the cathedral where it's all the lawn, then it's better.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say... I was gonna also say, we have loads of cafes, loads of pubs, charity shops. I just think there's an abundance of charity shops and places to go that are really cozy and nice. They give it a very homey atmosphere.
Okay, yeah, but then I'm also going to say the irony when we complain so often about there not being enough variety of places.
Do we actually say that? Because I don't think I say that.
I feel like I say it. Like, one of my hates is, this will come up, but one of my hates is how there is nowhere open past certain times that aren't like pubs or bars, basically. Like, the cafes do not stay open long enough, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I do agree with that actually. Taste is the only one that stays open until 10 p.m.
Yeah, like even if places just stayed open until like 8 or something, or if there was just like a bit of a longer time, it would be so much better. Because you just don't want to have as your hangout place all the time to be a pub or, you know...
The library.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, no, I agree. But to be fair, I also feel like the town, it has the things you need. The only times I've ever had to leave to get something have been for when I went to Dundee to the doctors, and when I went to get some spices as well that you can't find. The Middle Eastern spices, they're not going to be found in this town, trust me.
Because it is the whitest university.
But like academic wise, some of the lecturers and tutors are absolutely hilarious. I don't know, I have like one or two teachers that I had in sixth form in college where they were really lovely and great to chat to, but I just feel like it's a different dynamic when you get to uni. You're treated as more of an adult, and I really appreciate that for one.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a tutor I've disliked, actually. Like, I've never had a tutor who I haven't... I mean, there have been tutors who have bored me, 100%. But I've never had a tutor who I've had a problem with, and some tutors have been really outstanding.
Yeah, that's because you got them all wrapped around your finger.
This is a good point, actually. Anyone who wants advice on how to get good marks, go to your tutor's office hours because they love it.
I also would say, and I think other people may have differing opinions on this, but for me personally, the help that I've received mental health wise in terms of having someone to speak to via the university has been really beneficial for me.
Yeah, I think the university is actually really supportive overall. There are so many different ways that the university tries to support you. So like now they're doing subject mentors. So like older students will mentor like freshers and second years. Or, you know, they've got like Nightline, which is... What is Nightline exactly?
Nightline is a student-run help service, and you can anonymously call in and speak to someone if you feel like you're experiencing any kind of problems, or you just feel like you need someone to talk to without the added pressure of going through the whole process of seeing an adult, and if you just want to speak to a peer. And they're open at night, hence the name Nightline. For those who are in need of a bit more extensive, every other week kind of meetings, I found them very useful for me personally, and I think it's so important that they take our problems seriously.
What else do I love about St Andrews? Oh, okay, actually, how you literally can just, like, people say this all the time about St Andrews, and it's like one of the staple things, and it's such a cliche, but how you literally just walk anywhere and you see people who you know.
That can be positive and negative.
Well, I mean, it can be negative if you're late to a lecture. Like, I've been like 20 minutes late to lectures before because someone has stopped me in the street to talk to me. But equally, on top of that, I think it can be a really positive thing because, you know, you just, like, it's such a small town, you just see people all the time who you know, and it's just a really nice way to like make your day just by like bumping into someone or someone just smiling to you in the street.
I agree with that, but I also we're gonna dip into the negatives now. What I hate. Yeah, it's great to see everyone that you know and you're friends with, but on the other hand, people that you are no longer friends with, or let's say you had an awkward interaction with someone, or you hooked up with someone on a night out, and then you have to see them everywhere you go. It's not the best.
Kiana's speaking from a lot of experience.
Okay, stop. Literally, it's only at the gym, and I don't understand how it is every single time. I've altered my gym times, and it hasn't made a difference. I don't understand.
Another reason why I don't go to the gym.
Yeah, that's the reason, sure.
Should we do hates? Because I feel like we've probably can scrape together quite a few.
I mean, I was gonna go jump into weather first. 2 points about weather. One is the wind. I have severe allergies from the months of October all the way up to June. I have hay fever and I can't breathe, so I hate that. And then also I would say mid-November to December, the winter months, they've just been very depressing both years. I think less sunlight equals more depression. Also, everyone has either assignments and it's it's exam revision time and then exams, so you're going to be seeing less people. I don't know, I just felt very isolated and alone and upset and unmotivated.
Okay, I think that's fair. Personally, I prefer having the exams then anyway, just so that we don't have to do any work over Christmas.
I agree with that for sure.
But no, I can see your point. Like in November, December time, it is extremely dark very early on. Like in the middle of the afternoon, you'll be in a lecture and it'll just go dark.
Yeah, remember going to English lectures that are 4 to 5? We get to the lecture, it's like kind of light out, and then in the middle of the lecture, plunged into darkness, and then Dr. who had no idea about anything and was like, had a little light in front of her, and everyone else was blind in the entire lecture, couldn't see a thing, and she just took no notice at all that no one could see anything and how dark it was in that lecture.
Maybe take a breath next time.
Sorry to call out Dr. like that, but please.
What lecture was that? Was I there?
You were there. Yeah, but you don't pay attention in lectures anyway, so...
Not like, I still don't know any of their names, like... Okay, have you finished your rant? Have you finished your rant about weather?
I finished my rant about weather, and now on to you.
Okay, you're turning so British so quickly. Okay, so my first thing, this is such a me thing to talk about, but the library is not big enough.
I agree in terms of study spaces.
It's not big enough at all. You get to, like, literally this year has been ridiculous because the university has taken in more students in first year so they can get more money, basically. And honestly, I think there are great first years, but also at the same time, I think it's been ridiculous. The library has been so overcrowded from week 3 onwards, when nobody has assignments yet, really. For the entire, like, next 12 weeks of the semester, it has been, like, up to 900 people plus every day. And when you get to exam time, it's full capacity almost always. And the library staff are all really lovely people, and they will try and help you in any way they can. However, there just is not enough space in our library, in the main library anyway, or in any of the libraries, I think.
So this is like, I'm not shading anyone when I say this.
Yes, you so are.
But I was at the gym once. I ran into a friend and she'd just done her workout and she put on like loads of deodorant. She's like, yeah, I'm going to the library to study. I was like,
ew.
I'm not shading, but like, girl.
Basically, the library is just not big enough. That's my biggest pet peeve about St Andrews. There's just not enough space.
One of my
Huge.
annoyances about at least the subjects we do, which are like essay-based subjects, is that you will get wildly different advice from different tutors based on their own personal preferences, and I'd rather just... You remember you had that tutor who told you how he wanted the essay to look like?
Yeah.
That's all I want in life. That is literally all I want, is a tutor to be like, I want this from you, instead of having to go from one module to another module and them giving you all these different opinions. Just tell me what you want. Even I'll go to your office hour and you won't tell me what you want. It literally drives me up the wall.
No, I mean, I think that's a fair point. That tutor I had for modern history was so good because he told me exactly how he wanted the essay to be structured, the type of style he wanted, how much emphasis and focus he wanted on each section. So in that sense, he was really good. I do agree with you, and one thing that was on my list actually about hate is, especially for our subjects, and I'm just talking especially right now about English, so I warn anyone who's coming to study English at St Andrews, half of the lectures are pointless.
I mean, it depends on who's lecturing.
No, Kiana, in first year, we sat in a lecture talking about the rhythm of a passage to India, the rhythm in which we listened to music for half of the lecture. How is that helpful?
Did I go to that lecture?
I don't think you did, because I went to it and I was like, half of it was music. He was playing music for half a lecture.
Listen, I am not going to openly shade any lecturers.
You openly shaded Dr.
No, I didn't. I just said she didn't notice that the lights went, the sun set and she didn't turn the lights on. I was like, that's just practical thinking. That's not shade. It has nothing to do with her teaching ability. I will not shade any lecturers on YouTube. However, if any of you want information on whose lectures not to go to, please send me a message on Instagram because I will tell you.
Okay, well, all I'm saying is that sometimes lectures and content for English especially can be completely redundant towards the exam or any of the coursework, and that really irritates me because we could be focusing on things that do come up in the exams that we do need to know.
Oh, I agree. Moving on from, like, subject stuff. Can we just have a quick discussion about the Madras kids?
Oh no, the tea. Wait, I don't know if we should call them the Madras kids, because it hasn't actually been officially stated that it's them.
Okay, let's allegedly, presumably, supposedly, it is them. We're not confirming nor denying. There was an article on The Saint that Tom was reading to me one night.
Oh yeah, I love how you're giving it to me to get all the information.
You're the one who read it.
Basically, in the first term of our second year here, so in September to December of 2019, there were a lot of incidents going down between students at the university and local kids and youths, in which essentially students were being beaten up or mugged or
harassed. Yeah, literally. There are two different stories that I've heard from people. Actually, no, can we just discuss the fact that they broke my window?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so I'm moving, so I can say this now. My window is out onto Market Street. Like one night, it was like near 2 a.m. I hear a really loud crash, but I didn't know what it was. And then the next morning, I didn't really realize. 2 days later, I realized that my window had been smashed and there was by a golf ball, and then we found out that it was those kids.
The stories that the Saint reported were basically centred around two guys who were coming back from a ball who got attacked and mugged, I think, in which one of them like nearly get glassed or hit over the head with a bottle or something?
Yeah, so they had smashed a wine bottle and they were like threatening them. I've also heard that people have had broken bottles thrown into their flats, and a friend's boyfriend's flatmate was followed home to the point where he had to stop by the police station, and the police like scared the kids off, and they were like yelling at this guy. They were like, oh, we know where you live, we're gonna come and get you, and all this stuff. Honestly, I don't know what's been going on lately, but the police needs to step up their game, because this is actually a problem. And then it turns out the locals don't actually know about any of this, because friends that I made over winter break, I was chatting to them and they have no idea what's going on. So I printed out a copy of that article from The Saint and I gave it to my friend, and she spread it around the town circle groups because they had no idea what was going on.
So basically, I'll put a link in the description below to the article, because it's got photos in of what happened to the people who were attacked. Like, they took photos of them and stuff too. It's talking about how some students got concussion, also how some local girls have been harassing other girls and guys, like on the way to like lectures or supermarkets and stuff, in which they've been like shouting at them and saying racist abuse and sexist abuse and all of this stuff. And like, I saw it myself, because it was like, I don't know, where I was going to a party walking down South Street and the police were chasing like 20 different kids. And then also like on the way to dinner one night, a kid ran past me and Beth, with the police still chasing after him as well. The police have been trying to like stop it, and I think they are getting somewhere, because I haven't really heard anything about it recently. It's very concerning that something like that could happen in such a small town as ours, because otherwise the crime rate is basically zero for St Andrews.
Clout chasers. Do you know what clout is?
Nope.
What do you mean no?
I don't.
A clout chaser is someone who like chases after this like prestige of being known by people and being like popular.
Okay, feel slightly attacked.
Tom, it's not you. Trust me. Trust me. So these are the people who, they were like really quirky, not really popular when they were in school, but they're quite rich. So when they get to St Andrews, they use their money to get into all of these circles to get them closer to the it crowd. The it crowd is basically the people who run all the big social events here. They're basically the Beanox. The clout chasers are people who want to be the Beanox, but they're not Beanox, and they'll never be Beanox.
I understand now, I googled it.
What I find so interesting is that you can go from being friends with someone and then they can slowly change over time and become more and more shallow and obsessed with social climbing, and that's essentially what it is. It's social climbers, and they do it with their money, and they end up losing friends, personality, all this stuff, just to be part of an it crowd that's never going to accept them anyways.
We do hate the parvenu.
Down with bourgeoisie.
Those nouveau riche. That's interesting actually, because I think we should talk about that briefly, like the popularity and stuff in St Andrews, because people, this is something that I found between you and me in first year, was the town is kind of split in who knows who, because in first year I found that I knew lots of people who lived in town because I lived in Sally's, so you know people in Regs, you know people in Macintosh, you know that side of town. But then I didn't know anyone who lived on your side of town, which is interesting. So it's like different sections of popularity and different sections, I think, in first year. And I don't know whether that was just me. Like, I never really went to your side of town, so I think that's probably why I didn't actually know anybody over there, you know?
I mean, I knew both just because I had classes in town and then I lived out of town,
Yeah. I mean, also because of the subjects you took as well, because the majority of art students seem to live in town, really.
Don't we just love that, how they placed me out of town? Isn't it amazing?
Not at all bitter.
And I spent like over 300 quid on cabs in first year.
Still, to this day, there's lots of people, like, who I don't know, who you would class as, like, a B-knock or popular or something, you know? And, like, the same thing, like, I know lots of people who I think are, like, known by a lot of people who you probably wouldn't know.
It's different circles as well, different social groups.
Social stuff is kind of fragmented in a way and also not. It's really difficult to explain.
If I say a name and like you don't know it, it's because you're not interested in that side of the uni. It's integration into different groups. So let's say like a friend of mine will say someone, be like, oh my god, don't you know that person? They're like this and this, and I'll be like, no, because I'm not interested in like sports, so I don't know that person.
Yeah, that's it.
Not that I'm not interested in sports, but it's just an example.
Yeah, no, that's completely right though. I do agree. Also, should we talk about, this is such a tea thing, but should we talk about ethnic diversity? Saint published another article. I love how we're just using all of the information that the Saint have given.
See, I don't even know if I'm the right person to chat about this, because I have never been harassed or said anything to just because I have quite light skin.
Oh, but I wasn't even going to say that. Like, I don't actually know of any racist things.
Oh, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of concerning.
2 of my friends, either like someone in the town has said something, like a townsperson, or students have acted in a way. It's that kind of like silent racism that you have more in the UK. It's like indirect, but it's also very obvious as well. You know what happened to me actually? This is not even like hate. I don't think it was meant in a malicious way at all. But so I had met some people on a night out, and we were in the Vic and we were chatting and stuff, and they were like, oh, where are you from? I said Iran. And they said, oh, you're really pretty for an Iranian girl. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean?
That's ridiculous.
Like, a lot of Iranian girls are very pretty. And then they were like, oh, but we know a girl and she's really ugly. That's so rude to say. Not only is it awful to another girl, it's kind of racist.
I mean, I was going to say about racial diversity, so this came out in first year, again, and was a bit of a thing at the time, in which, so the university social media pages, like the university Instagram and stuff, gets taken over by different, like, societies or different individuals doing research, different stuff like that, to, like, promote the university's different aspects. And one person who was doing it, who I think was, like, a research student or PhD student or someone, they were looking at statistics of the university applicants and university places given, and stuff like that. And basically what it found was, and again, I'll link the article in the description box, or, you know, but basically what it found was that out of 7,221 undergraduates, there were only 50-something from black backgrounds.
Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised, because I kind of find an issue with this. The fact that I'm not being like saying anything, but this uni is a white uni. I don't think you can deny that. There, especially for the subjects that I do as well.
And also what was really shocking, I think, about these statistics was that there are more students who have gone to the top 6 public schools in England at the university than there are black males and black female undergrads. It's by quite a way as well.
It's shocking, but I'm not surprised based off of what you see when you walk around town as well.
I mean, it's a whole other situation with universities and everything, and higher education, and it's not just a St Andrews isolated problem, it's just a bigger thing at large. But I think there's probably definitely a lack of some form of diversity in St Andrews, not just with race, but probably with backgrounds even.
Oh yeah, like the class stuff. I feel like a lot of people don't realise there are people from quite low economic backgrounds here, and everyone thinks that, like, oh, this is just such a posh school, and oh, everyone there must be so rich, like you have billionaires here. Yes, we have billionaires here, and we also have kids who commute from hours away because they can't afford to live in this very expensive accommodation-wise town.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Like, the tier of that accommodation is ridiculous. It's so expensive to live in St Andrews. But also, you know, I mean, we chose it for a reason. What other stuff do you have that you hated?
This is, like, not as serious as all the stuff we've discussed, so we might just end on a light one. But the fact that we don't really have a dance club kind of bothers me, because... No, because no one dances in the union, and heaven forbid I end up in 601.
I like 601.
Okay, for certain events like Halloween and some few freshers events, it's fun. Any other time, it is not, okay? Unless it is
fair.
packed, it is not a fun time. It's mainly just people like making out with one another, which is not what I'm there for. I want to dance and have fun with my friends. The Vic is sometimes really fun. I really enjoy the Vic on a good like dancey night out. But then they always do like regular like hip hop music, which I love, but also I want to dance to some Latin music. That is my jam, everyone. You know, like set up a Latin music night, okay?
Such a random one.
To kind of close things off though, we talked so long about these negatives. It's just because they're a bit more serious than the positives.
But also, I think like we spoke a lot about negatives, but also they're not like huge negatives at the end of the day. I mean, like obviously, like the racial diversity and the attacks by other people on St Andrews students are serious issues and are concerning. But also at the same time, the university is an extremely supportive environment, and the positives of studying in St Andrews I think far outweigh the negatives, because like I mean we're only halfway through our time, but like we've had a great time.
And I wouldn't change it for the world as well. Just the experiences I've had here have just shaped me so much as a person, and I truly feel like I am where I need to be.
Fair. I would change it for a bigger library.
And on that note, we're gonna sign off.
Thank you so much guys for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment if you have any questions, or please get in touch with us on Instagram or anything like that, because you know we always love to hear from you. You know, if you're a fresher and you're coming next year, get in touch with us if you've got any queries, or if you want to be adopted by Kiana, because apparently she's just giving herself out now to people.
Thank you so much for supporting us, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye guys.
Bye.